Most contractors think they have a lead problem. They think that if they just had more leads, everything would improve. Revenue would increase. The team would magically perform better. The business would feel easier. But in most cases, leads aren't the real problem. If the business isn't structured properly, more leads just create more chaos, not more control. And if this is our first time meeting, my name's Steve Huber, founder of Billion Dollar Contractor. Before starting this company, I spent a decade inside some of the largest contracting businesses in America, helping build and scale companies that produced hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue every year for over a decade. And during that time, I saw what some contractors don't realize: that business that struggled weren't lacking opportunity, they were lacking structure. And so let's talk about why leads feel like the problem. It's when revenue drops, it's easy to blame the leads because leads are visible. Leads are easy to point to. If leads increase, revenue increases too. So it feels like the solution is simple. Just generate more leads. And for a while that will work, but it doesn't solve the real problem because leads don't create control. Structure does. And so there's this false hope cycle that exists. It's this constant cycle that most contractors get stuck in. They push hard to generate more lead, revenue increases, things feel better temporarily, but underneath, none of the structure has changed. So the same problems come back, the same stress returns, the owner ends up right back where they started, not because leads don't matter, it's because leads don't fix these structural issues that exist. And so here's what actually happens. As the business grows, complexity grows. You're going to get more customers, more employees, more decisions, more moving parts. And if you don't have structure, everything starts to depend on the owner. The owner becomes the only one holding everything together. They're answering all the questions. They're making sure things don't break. It becomes incredibly dependent on their constant involvement. It's not because they want it to be that way. It's because the structure doesn't exist yet to fix it. And this is the real reason that businesses feel chaotic. It's not because there's a lack of effort. There's a lack of structure. Roles are unclear. Expectations are unclear. They're inconsistent. Performance isn't visible. Problems aren't identified early, and the owner is just forced into this constant reaction mode. They're trying to keep everything moving and keeping everything together, and it's actually just where most people get stuck. It's not that owners and contractors aren't capable. It's because the business grew faster than the structure underneath it could handle. And so you can usually recognize this immediately. If you step away from the business and things slow down, you probably have a structure problem. If you stop pushing and performance drops, you're probably lacking those systems. If you're not personally involved every day and problems surface faster, it's not because your team is bad. It's because the business still depends on you to function. And so it's the danger cycle again that most contractors enter. Most owners respond the only way that they know how. They work harder, they get more involved, they try and stay on top of everything, and temporarily it helps, but it also makes the business more dependent on them, not less. The same skills it took for you to start your business and get it stable are not the same skills that are going to be required to ultimately get you to be able to control and scale the business and grow it to do the things that you probably want to do. And when you don't have those things in place, it becomes significantly harder. Businesses don't have to operate this way. When structure exists, the business becomes stable, performance becomes predictable, and problems become visible early. The owner is no longer the only person that can hold everything together. The business will start supporting the owner instead of depending on them. And so here's the truth that most contractors eventually discover at some point. Eventually, most contractors reach a point where effort stops being the solution, where working harder doesn't create stability, where more leads don't fix the underlying problems, because the real issue isn't opportunity. There's opportunity everywhere for all of you, no matter what trade you're in. The real issue is the structure of the business. And until the structure exists, your business is always going to depend on the owner to function. And so it's the transition that every contractor eventually has to make, from operator to owner, from reacting to leading, and to leading a structured business. because real companies don't depend on the owner's constant involvement to survive. They operate based on structure. I'm going to show you exactly where control begins, where visibility starts, because you actually can't control what you can't see. And so in the next video, I'll show you the simple weekly scoreboard and scorecard that every contractor should be using and how it's going to help you create immediate clarity inside your business so you can start operating from a place of control instead of chaos. Until next time, my name's Steve. Thanks again for checking us out.